Her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one sentence resignation?
All right, here we are again with the next episode, Spilling the Tea in Studio D. The road trip continues, 40 years of co-ops. So, that's, I think so far Willie and I might be the only two to say that was our senior year in high school.
No, that was my senior year in high school, too.
85 you graduated in?
I'm an 85.
How about that? See there?
Not me and
there's
Amy.
something,
No,
yeah.
Amy and I. No.
No.
Yeah, well,
No.
that's good to know because
92,
the-
93,
and
92.
yeah, we have Karen K. I can't ever get your last name right. Is it
McMahan.
McMahan. So I'm thinking, is she giving a big check away, or is it McMahan? Some people I've heard.
It's like
her
Ed
say-
McMahon with
yeah,
an E.
okay,
instead of
with
an
an
Yeah,
E.
we were on the
Okay.
way up here.
Right,
We were
director
like McMahon,
here
yeah. Anyway.
at South Central,
Mhm.
and then we have the newly christened TCC. Amy Sanchez is the teacher center coordinator. I know we get a lot of times we drop a lot of acronyms in education, so sometimes we have to drop it in there. So one of the things Willie and I talked about yesterday was the fact that we were basically the last year where kindergarten was not mandated. Did you go to
That's right.
kindergarten?
Yep, private kindergarten.
Oh, and see, again, my kindergarten was Sesame Street and Zoo, which Candace learned what that show was about.
Yeah, we Googled that yesterday.
Oh,
okay.
Zoom. I don't remember.
We had
that,
Red
but-
Kool-Aid and animal crackers
Yeah.
at
See,
home at lunchtime.
That was before
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Zoom was.
And that's the other part.
Very.
It didn't make it by the early 90s,
No.
apparently.
Yeah, well, there's
I mean, not
lots
the
of
early,
reasons.
'70s.
early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. I started
Electric
No,
company.
no.
early 90s. What are
Yeah,
you,
let-
13? Oh, my God.
Sometimes.
Yes,
Sometimes I
yeah.
am.
But-
Sometimes.
But yeah, and I forgot about that piece of kindergarten when it started out. It was basically a half day, right?
We went to Miss Madge's house
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
we did
Yeah.
a little learning and socializing and
Yeah,
Mhm. It was Mr. Rogers
Yeah.
and Sesame Street
Yep.
yeah.
for us.
Mr.
And
Rogers.
Electric Company. Yeah.
I don't know about all that. So
Yeah. He's a nice guy. You could learn
Yeah.
a lot from him, Darren.
yeah, that's true. I probably could have, but my cardigan game's not as on point as his. I will say that. So. One of the ways we like to get going, obviously, is kind of talk about your path to where you're at. I mean, I think that's been one of the coolest things is getting to know everybody's, path to, like I say, where they landed today. Obviously, everybody has a story. So, Karen, why don't you just kick in and tell us, how you got into education and the path that led you to right here.
okay. Was a big ag student
Mm-hmm.
in high school.
Right.
Looked up to my ag teacher. My ag teacher continues to this day to still mentor
Right.
me,
Yeah.
right? Even though he's
Awesome.
retired and gone
Yeah.
on. So I went to school to be an ag teacher.
Okay. Yeah. So your parents, anybody else in education?
Great grandparents.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of heritage there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So was going to be an ag teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Taught at Gurdon, taught at Magnolia.
Okay.
Got married,
Mm-hmm.
had a baby, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, like, who's going to take care of this baby when I'm gone on the road?
Yeah.
On all these
Right.
judging trips
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fairs and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So took a step back and got licensed in science.
Okay.
So taught 7th through 12th grade science at Taylor.
Gotcha.
Also had another ag teacher there that was a great mentor
Mhm.
to me. He was actually going through his superintendency at the time I was teaching.
Hmm.
And I was the guinea pig. I did all of his class projects. Like, I was the guinea pig that he
Right.
came and tested things out
Yeah.
on. And he had a conversation with me and said, you need to think about being a principal.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, I already have my master's. Like,
Right.
I got my master's in ag.
Yeah.
But he just kept on, like,
Mhm.
you need to do this, you need to do this. So I looked into it and,
Right.
just took a few classes, and that was when you had the DRP.
Yep. Yep. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
That
That's
was
how old
before-
I am.
That was before us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry. What was it? Deficiency removal plan
Exactly.
or whatever.
That's what it was.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
took a few classes and got the principal's license, and then later on had the opportunity to actually be the elementary principal there at that school.
Okay.
So that was a hard decision
Mm-hmm.
because when you teach 7 through 12, you impact so many kids, like
Right.
140, 150 kids
Yeah,
a day, right?
absolutely.
And I wasn't sure I was ready to step away from those kids, but I kind of rationalized it and thought real hard and prayed about
Sure.
it. But okay, Karen, you're hopefully impacting 140, 150 kids.
Right.
But if you go to be the elementary principal, think of the number of kids that you're going to
Right.
impact. Double,
Yeah.
almost
Right.
double that, right?
Right.
Right.
And then had the opportunity to come another person that God puts these people in your path that mentored you. It was a person that had worked in and out of our co-op, was married to the previous co-op director, and he was in our building, doing some science stuff. And he said, we have a teacher center coordinator position open at the co-op. And I said, really? And boy, I just thought on that. I just couldn't leave it alone. And so
Right.
I had the opportunity to come and interview here and was fortunate enough to get the job to be the teacher center coordinator. And again, that thinking about, okay, well, if you can impact this many and then you go to be a principal and you impact this many, and then now if you're a teacher center coordinator,
Right. Yeah.
it exponentially
For sure.
gets even bigger. So this is year 35 for me.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
How long have you
Gotta
been at the
speak.
co-op?
This is my 13th year at the co-op.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the teacher center coordinator, then
Right.
was blessed to be given the task to be the director and lead the group,
Right.
lead the team.
Yeah.
Lead
Well,
the
you
team.
know, you said something about and I find that very interesting though. But you said something about ag teachers still being a mentor. That is probably the single most area I think where across the spectrum that the connections are still intact today. I hear more ag people say that.
We're a
And-
family.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, like Donald Westerman's taking a job in Arkadelphia working for the chamber, but ran into somebody that came through that was an ag person, and within 5 minutes it was like 6 degrees of whatever.
It's probably Eric Hughes.
Yeah,
and
but
Donald Westerman.
they all just talked about, oh yeah, I remember that guy, and then there was a guy from the Queen Mena area that everybody knew, and like I said, but that's always been interesting to me is how they basically look out for their own, encourage one another, support one another through the years. And again, it may be that way in other areas, but ag really stands out when I get right down to it, and I'm like, So where's home for you?
I'm originally from Foreman.
Okay, gotcha.
Grew up on a farm, so
All right. Yeah.
came to school at SAU, got a master's at the University of Arkansas. Did my superintendent's at A&M in Texarkana.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of been around.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So where'd you go to high school?
Foreman High School.
Foreman High School. What are they?
The Gators.
The Gators. That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
40th year reunion coming up
Wow.
in October.
Yeah. So how many did you graduate with?
44.
Yeah, we had 40 in mine. So yeah, I always
had
tell people I
almost
was in the
200.
top 10%, but it didn't take much to get there. Obviously, if I'm in there, but yeah. So, but yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So Amy, what about you? What's your path to where you at?
Well, not as focused necessarily as Karen K.
Right.
So I'm a graduate of Camden Fairview.
Okay.
I was a junior the year they consolidated and went to Camden initially.
That was a big deal, wasn't it?
Oh
the
my gosh, it still
consolidation?
impacts me today.
Yeah.
Anna and I frequently talk about that. The previous TCC, she was a year ahead of me in school, and we did like madrigals, school play, tennis,
So
all that together.
which side were you on?
Camden.
Okay. Okay.
Anna
so-
was too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We came
All
from the right side.
right. The right side. Yeah.
The
Okay.
Camden Panthers, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So when I graduated, I said I would never teach, and I would never come back to Camden
Never say never.
That's right.
because I saw my mom in education for 29 years, and I saw how much outside work that she did because she was
Right.
really committed to her, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I liked what she did. She was available to us
Yeah,
when
what'd
we
she
needed
teach?
her. She taught elementary.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I think they probably did want her to move into administration because she just had that eye.
Yeah,
She had-
exactly.
she had the look, huh?
Yeah. So, but she said no. I just want to be in the classroom.
Wow. Okay.
So
Good for her.
yeah. And then my aunt and uncle are teachers. They retired from Lincoln School
Okay.
District.
Yeah.
Those are the only teachers like in the family per se. My dad was an accountant. But I went to UCA and initially started out in physical therapy.
Oh wow. Okay. Hey, maybe she can get that knot worked out of
Yeah.
your shoulder.
Or I can send her to my sister. She's
Okay.
a physical
Yeah.
therapy
Okay.
Hey,
assistant
listen,
now.
Willie's Tylenol.
Yeah, or so he says.
So
Yeah,
Willie, you know, she-
exactly.
Right. So UCA took about 5 years to get out there. Went from PT initially, and when zoology hit, I decided no,
Yeah,
that's
not for
the
me.
path for
Yeah,
me.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I kind of like numbers, so I tried accounting
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like, my dad and I are a little more similar in that way.
Right.
Well, no,
Mm.
I didn't like those columns that had to match up.
Right.
So then I said, well, I can just be a free spirit and try drama
Mm-hmm.
and choral performance because I went on a vocal scholarship, partial scholarship, and well, that wasn't gonna get the bills paid.
Right.
So finally, I said, well, the older I get, the more I need to find something that's gonna support me, and I knew what Arkansas Teacher Retirement could do.
Yeah.
And so I stepped into the educational scene, and it was like going home.
Mm.
And so, like where classes I would struggle initially in all the other fields, it was second nature.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so I said, well, I'm going to continue on this path. Got out in 98 and went to teach in inner city Little Rock because that's where I did elementary.
Okay.
And I said I'd always go into inner city. And so I was fortunate enough to get a job at Washington there, and I spent 4 years in Little Rock before completing my administrator's degree. Nobody told me to go get my
Yeah.
degree, mind you. And I was like, okay, this 36,000 is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And so, and I did want to impact other people, and I like researching, and so I felt like administration was a path for me. And got a job over in the Delta. That school district no longer exists. They are consolidated with Marble.
Okay. Elaine.
Yes,
Okay.
Elaine down at
Yeah.
Lucia Wood Elementary.
Yeah.
And if I'd have known then what I know now about administration,
Mhm.
I might could have helped.
Right.
But right then, I'd only had 4 years of teaching.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was 27 years old going into
Mm-hmm.
a place where I've never didn't know a soul.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I did move there to meet my husband.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
my teacher mom said, okay, you're married, you have a child on the way. Why don't you move back to Camden?
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch the baby.
Mm.
So 3 weeks after child was born, we have an interview at El Dorado because Camden had already filled all their slots, and a rent house, all within a weekend's time.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk about God ordering
God's
steps.
plan.
Yeah.
God's plan.
So we stayed in Camden until 21.
Mm-hmm.
I did a year of teaching in El Dorado. I taught 5th grade lit, and then came to Camden because I had an opening then, taught 4th and 5th grade math, and then moved into an assistant principal in my old middle school building,
Oh wow.
and then graduated.
Back up.
Had a little
Back
blip
up.
there. Stayed there until I did 8 years of assistant administration. Then I did a year at Ivory, and then went back into where I started. And then my mom, she's obviously a huge influence in my life. She said, I want to go live where I'm from.
Mm.
So we applied at Siloam Springs,
Gotcha.
and I was able to get a position there as Director of Student Services and School Improvement. Stayed there for a couple of years and said, you know what, this is nice, it's beautiful, the people are great, but it's not home.
Right.
So then an opportunity came in at Strong Huddig, and I applied as superintendent and was awarded that position for a couple of years. And then last April, I think, Karen Kay said, what are your thoughts concerning this? Because I've always been in touch with Karen Kay ever
Right.
since, I've been in the co-op area. And I think even interviewed at Taylor when she was leaving Taylor.
Yeah, you did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot about that.
yeah. So and had interviewed here a couple of times.
And I
thinking-
stopped her in the hall and said, "Hey, you know we've got a teacher center coordinator position open.
Yeah.
Would you consider?"
Yeah. Are
And-
you interested? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's where I think it's really, really cool. And I don't want to get on my in a pulpit stance, but I had told God, you know, if you want me to move, I need somebody to approach me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. Wow.
And I told her, I said, don't make me cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Right.
and then the rest is history, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
as they say.
Yeah.
It's been extremely enjoyable. I told the instructional team last week in an email, I was like, I look forward to coming to work every day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's just the ability that you have to impact and encourage others in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
I went and visited one of the teachers at a district, and she said, so what do you need me to have? I said, I don't need you to have anything.
Right.
I'm here to support you.
Right.
How can I help you? What do you need me
Exactly.
to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like I've finally made it to the place where I
Yeah.
should have started,
Oh, yeah.
really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think all of my experiences, you know, will help me.
100%.
They will for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
It's a
So
cool
Well,
job.
well, and the older I
help
get,
people.
the more that becomes apparent. Every stop along the way, whether it was in education or outside of education. I mean, I can relate to what you're saying because when I got ready to make a career move into education, same kind of thing. You know, I learned right then. You know, I'm not making any deals with God because He's going to win, right?
Right.
And but the good thing is, I was blessed to live my lifelong career of wanting to be in radio, and then basically, you know, going out and interacting with schools with Red Ribbon Week or Career Day. It's kind of like, okay, you've had your fun. Now it's my turn. And I mean, he didn't knock on the door; he just kicked it wide open
Oh,
and said,
wow.
you know, this is the way you're going to go. But you know, I agree. Both of y'all said that, and that's probably the most appealing thing to me about the co-op. Really wasn't on my mind at the time, but as I processed it and talked to my wife about it, but the ability to impact so many students in different schools is the thing that you know, probably drew me in right off the bat. You know, because
Absolutely.
and it was really weird because, you know, even being a board member as a superintendent, I mean, you know what the co-op does, but you don't really know what the co-op
Right.
That's
does.
true.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Until you're sitting in that seat.
absolutely.
Yep.
So, but you know, and then of course when I pulled Candace in, I don't know what happened. I think I hit my head. I don't know what happened. I
He
mean,
knew.
It's so
He knew what he
yeah,
was doing.
I
He
know.
knew what he was
I've
doing.
hired her twice, and that's really the thing I question
I've heard
myself
you say
about.
that. I've
Yeah.
heard you say that
Yeah.
before. I
Yeah.
didn't just hire her once. I've hired her twice.
Yeah, exactly. What was I thinking?
You were
But-
smart those
but
two
we've
times.
we've
Yeah,
worked
absolutely. I
we-
think so, Candace.
we've worked together at 3 different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So
we were thinking out of the 30 years, probably 15, at least half of
yeah,
them.
at least
Wow.
half of
We're
them.
working
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I know.
Neat relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what does that say about me? That's the
I know.
question I can't answer. So I don't know. So school wise, y'all, how many do y'all serve? Y'all have
11 districts.
11 districts, and y'all pretty spread out, like most of us are.
Right.
What's the smallest?
The smallest district would probably be Strong Huddig.
Okay, Strong Huddig, and then largest would be
El Dorado.
El Dorado. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like us. We go from Kirby all the way up to Benton,
Sure.
Bryant type size. So, and again, that's something else that's. I mean, you wouldn't really, but you don't think about that till you get in that seat and see the different needs from
And
the small to the large.
As you're going to each of those districts, their needs are very,
Yeah.
very different.
I mean, there's a handful of required type stuff that you help with, but like you're saying, you know, for us, for instance, I always use this as an example. We have some of our smaller schools that they co-op together and purchase these sky lifts. I mean, they don't need it every day,
Right.
but they need it. Don't really want to pay for the whole thing, so it works out good. And really, what we do, we provide the trailer and the tracking system to make sure, you know, we can orchestrate that for them. But I mean, from that all the way up to, you know, test the things we were talking about on the way in this morning, and everything in between. So
Sure.
yeah. So what do you think right now as we walk and breathe education in the great state of Arkansas? What's probably the number one challenge you think? Lots of them out there, but. And that's the other thing that I love about this job. It's just like radio was for me. It's something different every single day.
That's
You know.
true. That is true.
Yeah, and your to-do list goes pretty much in the trash first thing. So
Yeah, I think schools are really struggling with the dollars,
yes,
with federal funding
right.
issues,
Fear of the unknown.
fear of the unknown
Right.
there. Not to mention the funding coming up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Of course, letter grades just came out,
Yeah,
so then
yeah,
you have the school
yeah.
improvement or
Right.
instructional piece there that
Yeah.
that everybody's calling and emailing and
Mhm.
texting and
Right.
how do I figure this? You know,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? You know, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I would think
Yeah.
those would be the top 30.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you're right, and we talk about this often too. But you know, having been in the varying seats along the way, right? I mean, it's prepared you for this moment. And a lot of times, I use this example. I think yesterday, but I had one Sue call me and we talked, and they were like, "Man, I apologize. I didn't mean for the conversation to turn this way or that way." And I said, "Hey, that's what we do. I can appreciate it. I sat in that seat. I can feel your frustration."
And that venting.
Oh, absolutely.
They
Yeah.
sometimes they don't have a whole lot of people,
Right.
so
Yeah.
sometimes they'll call
Mm-hmm.
and they just need a moment to vent.
That's right.
And so I just
Yeah.
let them
That's
sit
right.
in that moment and listen.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And they'll always apologize. Like I didn't mean to call and
yeah.
bend your ear that way, but this is it's just aggravating me,
Yeah,
and I need
yeah.
to tell somebody. I'm like,
Right.
you're fine.
Yeah, right.
You're fine.
Or they'll call and say, "Am I thinking about that right?" And I'm like, "Well,
Sure.
Hey, if you think so, I'm for you,
Mm-hmm.
But and just to say, well, have you thought about X, or this is how I had a similar situation, and kind of walk them through how maybe we may have handled it, and so
Being that critical friend, but also
Absolutely.
that thinking partner.
absolutely, yeah,
Right.
that's a good way of
'Cause
saying that.
Leadership, it is lonely. I mean, I remember going from assistant principal. When you go to principal, I didn't have assistant principal.
Right.
Well, I would reach out occasionally to some of the principals in the district, but they're busy too,
Right.
So you reach out to those people, and you
Yeah.
also have built relationships along the way,
Yeah.
and just say, "Hey, I just need to vent for a minute to somebody that doesn't have any insight into anything that's
Yeah.
here."
Yeah.
That's
You
one of
don't know anybody. You don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we've told our new, we're doing the principal
Sure.
mentoring.
Right.
I love that work, by the way.
Right.
I
yes.
love that work. But we've both told the ones that we're working with, it's lonely.
Mm-hmm.
If you need somebody to talk to,
Oh yeah. Same.
we're there for you until you find your people, your network
Yeah.
of people. But
Yeah. And it can be. We actually had a soup tell us the other day. He said, I've always heard that. Brand new soup, which we're working with, and
Yeah.
I again equally love that work. But that was one of the things he said. I've heard it all throughout my career. It's lonely at the top. But he said, I'm living that right now. And I said, well, the best piece of advice I can give you comes from a Jamie Johnson song. It's lonely at the top, but it's a B at the bottom. So remember that. So, and like I say, I got a good laugh out of it. But he's not wrong. I mean, there are days you do
you feel like you're on an island.
oh,
Yeah,
100%.
And you are sometimes.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but again, I guess that's the blessing that one of those things I've been blessed with is don't worry about a whole lot, honestly, because the good Lord has kind of blessed me with the mentality of you can worry yourself to death and know it's going to work out, or just know it's going to work out. And once I was able to land on that, know it's going to work out, sometimes in your favor, sometimes not so much. But again, making those decisions, you really don't know what it's like until the flames of administration or leadership are licking you right in the face or what have you. And but it's funny too, because and there's no shortage of armchair quarterbacking for administrators,
Or teachers.
or teachers. That's right.
Or
Yeah.
coaches. Or,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just go down the list, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and I think part of it, I think part of it is everybody went to school, right? It's kind of like, and I use this analogy sometimes, but it's kind of like playing baseball in the front yard. Everybody thinks they're a rules expert. Ergo, everybody's going to school, therefore they're a school expert. And,
Absolutely.
And not knowing, the changes that we've seen or endured, or the things that are quote unquote allowed or not allowed anymore. So it's isn't it? But like I say,
And
it's
just that kids, they don't always, they're not going to act at school
Right.
a lot of times how they act at home. And
sure.
I mean, you almost are, in a sense, you know, in loco parentis. I mean, you are, you're with them almost as much as the parents are.
Or more.
So,
Right.
and
Oh,
they can
yeah.
get-
A lot
and
of
that's-
times you're
that's
right.
what causes, I think, a lot of the issues because
Yeah.
you're like, no,
Yeah.
we're telling you the truth. Like,
Yeah.
this is what your kid's doing. You know?
Well, yeah. We don't have time to make this up, you
Yeah.
know. But that's the thing, though. I mean, end of the day, there's no way around it. I mean, education as a profession. I mean, it's truly a calling. I mean, there's no
I've
other.
always said that.
Yeah, no other way of
Yeah.
saying it. And the ones that aren't necessarily called to do it, I mean, they flesh themselves out. You know, again, I'm speaking to my age here, but one of the things I talk about this quite a bit too is just this whole, if it don't feel good, I'm gonna quit. Like right then, you know, in teaching that never used to happen. At least they would make a semester, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, within the last couple, I would say solidly 3 years, we got people coming in. They're calling and going, "Hey, we need a math teacher." Ours walked off the job yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Us too.
Yeah.
Left on Friday, packed up their stuff. They didn't even know they'd packed up their stuff. Didn't show up Monday.
Yeah.
Didn't respond to a phone call,
Yeah.
email,
Yeah, right.
text, nothing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I know of a district that
ghosted a
happens.
district.
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
So what do you think that is? I mean,
I don't know. I think it goes back to possibly how they were raised. I mean, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
right.
'Cause it goes back to your character, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Their mama
Yeah.
probably doesn't
yeah.
know that they did that.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, I mean, you know, if it's you just don't have that grit and determination, and then
Yeah.
that obviously respect to
Right.
call and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's no doubt in my
Yeah.
mind. I mean, you know, it's a tough profession. There's no doubt
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
oh, very tough."
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, a large, I guess that old public perception. Oh, they only work 9 months a year,
Yeah.
and if they only knew. I mean, teachers are busier now than ever, and even though they have quote unquote time off, they don't really have time off. I mean, they're constantly going to trainings, which, hey, again, good for us. But
Absolutely.
but you know, it's. I mean, it can wear on you. You know, it's a.
Absolutely.
You know,
But
again,
again, what job? All jobs.
right? Oh, 100%.
You know,
right?
I'm appalled at sometimes I think, well, if I only go to this school, that boy, it'll get better. If I
Yeah.
go to, if I didn't have
Yeah.
this or that to
Right.
deal with,
Right.
well, any job you go to
Right.
has its challenges.
Yep.
Yeah, I will say, just you know, my daughter, she's radiology tech, and it's you think about education because we were talking about her job. She loves her job. She's at Big Baptist in Little Rock, but at the end of the day, she goes home. She doesn't have to do extra work.
Right.
She's not worried about
Yeah.
kids. She's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, she loves it. That's one of the reasons she didn't want to be a nurse is because she's like, I can get in there, do the x-rays. I don't have to get attached to these people. You know what I'm saying? And she doesn't take work home. And I think educators, it's just, you're
That's
going to take work home.
Right.
That's
Like,
what you
done.
sign up for.
emotionally
Yeah.
and papers to grade, and because there's not enough time to do it in the day, and if you're going to
Yeah.
do it right, you're going to put in the time, and so I think it does wear on people, but it comes back to that, it's a calling. People that are called to do that, then they're going, if they have one great day out of the month where kids just they know they made a difference, that's just going to fuel them, you know, for a
Right.
few more months,
Mhm.
regardless of
Absolutely.
what's happening. But it is a tough job.
I mean, you know, it's a big responsibility as an educator, but what an incredible opportunity, I like to say. I mean,
Oh,
because,
absolutely.
you know, you're planting seeds, you know, hopefully for, you know, and again, I've heard this too, not to oversimplify, but every single lawyer, doctor, firefighter, police, they all got to go through education some way, somehow. I mean, and they're going to be touched by it somewhere. So, you know, again, one of the other head scratchers right now, I mean, obviously, we're right there within spitting distance of 2 4-year universities with good teacher prep programs, but the numbers, you know, are kind of dipping a little bit.
Sure.
And, you know, I don't know why that is. I know sometimes educators, we sabotage ourselves by, you know, like you're saying, talking about the heavy load, the work that's got to be done, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, very
But-
rewarding. Pay has gotten better.
And I was trying to think, even when I was in school, like even high school, when we have these conversations, we talk about, you know, teachers will tell kids, you know, oh, don't go into education. But I don't even, like at Malvern at the high school, I think all of my teachers, I really do not remember any of them, maybe one that may have gotten flustered, but just
Right.
thinking back on
Mm-hmm.
that they were just always so excited, and so I didn't have that, and I think
Yeah.
back to like, well, what if I'd have been sitting in class and the teachers were like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
don't go into education.
Yeah.
And if it was a teacher I respected highly or was one of my, that had poured into me, I
Right.
might have been like, well, maybe I
Oh.
don't want to do that,
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Like we as educators can hurt ourselves if we're coming to work negative and trying to steer kids away. Because when we hear people saying, "Hey, you're going
Yeah.
into education," I'm like, "That's fabulous. We need
Yeah.
great teachers.
That's
Kids
right.
need great teachers."
That's
so
right.
I
you
love
know.
to see in the summertime or anytime we're doing training. I love to see some of my old students come back and,
Oh, yeah.
and their teachers. Like
Yes.
I just really
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that is a great feeling. Obviously being 30 years into the profession, I've got to see that. And again, when you start out, my mindset was, well, if I touch one kid, I'll feel like I've done a great thing. But, obviously, if you get in it again and really pour yourself into it, you're going to touch lots of lives. And sometimes you may not ever know it. But it is really cool to see those adults that come back and follow through in the profession and good, bad, or indifferent. Hey, I had somewhat of an impact on them.
Maybe you had a hand in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, like I said, we were growing up, we were the teachers as much as we were with parents half the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
You think about it,
Yeah.
yeah. My mom wasn't a stay-at-home mom, so
Yeah.
I mean, we saw her a few hours in the afternoons when we got home before we went to bed. So
So, what do you feel like probably if you were going to shine a spotlight on something that you're extremely proud of at this co-op, what would it be? Besides the fact that Candace doesn't work here.
stop. I can't with you sometimes.
I think I'm gonna let Amy
yeah.
answer that because she's been in our co-op in a lot of
Oh,
different
yeah.
pieces. So
Right, yeah.
what do you think we're most proud of? What do you've been a teacher, you've been a principal, you've been assistant principal, you've been a superintendent at this co-op. What's been something that you feel like is the
For me, it has always been approachability.
Yeah, that's important.
Like,
It's huge.
I've always felt
Huge.
safe, especially as superintendent, to just
Yeah.
call you and say,
That's awesome.
here's my deal. What do you think about it?
Right.
And then at the end of every conversation, anybody that you talk to they always clarify and say, now this is trash or treasure.
Right.
You can use it in any way you see fit, and you're
Yeah.
not going to offend me.
Right. Yeah.
And so, and then like being on the team, it's just the amount of support and willingness to go above and beyond like the actual job duty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I've seen more, and it comes from all team members. If they can help, like say if math can help with science or science can help with
Yeah.
dyslexia,
Mhm.
then they're willing to jump right in.
Oh yeah.
And then when we are having our team meetings, everyone is real open and willing to be vulnerable and say, okay, I'm having a hard time right here
Right.
with this.
Mhm.
Can you guys, let's
Right. Yeah.
chew on it a little bit and
Sure.
see.
Yeah.
But I think
That's
just the
awesome.
ability, just consistently throughout the years, is to make us feel safe, in whatever concern that we have,
Right.
and then work like all get out to
Mhm.
find an answer.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a huge compliment, approachability, because again, that goes right along to what we do, and that's serve, right? I mean, that we tell our folks that all the time.
Relationships.
Yeah.
relationships?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it's in the title of what we do, but the approachability piece, it truly is. I mean, that's something, I think sometimes maybe we take it for granted in that we're rolling so fast, so hard most days. But again, like you're saying, when they call and they say, hey, I don't necessarily want to bring this before the group, but, being able to do that behind the scenes and say, look,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can find out.
Yeah.
And obviously it's important at the co-op level, like you're saying, you bring so many different hats to the table, but also back to Candace's point on the relationships, at least we know who to call. If we don't know, we can find
Right.
it out.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah, and that does save them some time because they know we can just text,
right.
the department. And I'm like, just let me know, and I'll shoot a text and
Right.
get an answer. And that saves
Right.
them a lot of time. of
Oh
having
yeah,
to-
yeah.
I think for me personally, just in the role that I've played is putting together a great team.
Yep, that's right.
And I tell them all the time, like, I would put this team up against any team in the state. Like,
Right.
you're that good. And always thinking, okay, as people approach retirement, like,
Right.
who's the next person I want to go and add to
Yeah.
this team?
Right.
And then the service piece, like, I
Yeah.
sometimes, and we all have those days where we're kind of whining or whatever.
Right.
And I learned this from a fellow TCC years ago. And I use it from time to time when different staff are whining about different things and just having that day or whatever. I'll say, well, what's that one word that's in our name?
Yep.
And usually that, I said, it's service.
Right. Yeah.
It's service.
This
And
is
so
this is us. It's Burger King people,
That's right. Yeah.
and
exactly.
they get it their way.
That's
they
right.
get it
That's
their
right.
way.
That is
Right,
right.
Chick-fil-A
So-
with a smile.
Yeah.
So that service piece and remind, and we
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
need to kind of sit in that sometimes because we all have like, demands and requests and this and that. Well, how am I
Right.
going to do that? And how am I going to fit that
Yeah.
in my schedule? And what am I, how am I going to do all this? And just sitting in there and going, no, it's about the service.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It,
yeah.
It's about the service and the customer.
It is. It is every time.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard. I mean, different personalities. I mean, for the most part, I'm positive most of the time, but you get
Yeah,
in those
most of the
moments.
time. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would say majority of the time, but except maybe when you aggravate me and then you get
Yeah.
it right back.
Yeah.
But so it's not. That's easier for me, But I'll get in those modes and.
Yeah.
You're just
I
like, shake it
normally
off. I
notice-
get to do this. I don't have
Yeah,
to. I get
Right.
exactly.
Right.
ASBA policy changes.
right.
I get to do this.
That's
I don't
right.
have to.
That's right.
I noticed that towards the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
so
yeah.
tired.
Yeah, everybody's tired.
They're so burnt out. So we
Yeah.
try to do something really big at the
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
This year it was the banana split party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
split. Summer's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That is
well,
cute.
And like I say, willingness to roll up our sleeves. I mean, again, point in case with Candace last week or earlier this week. I guess it was Monday. She was telling me she was at a school district, smaller district, was there to meet with the principal. Spend the day with her, and secretary or admin assistant called in sick or whatever. So
Was coming in late.
yeah, coming in late. So the principal's having to answer the phone and all that. And lo and behold, here comes some parents that weren't so happy. She had to take them, and Candace was like, "Hey, I got the phone." So
I'll get the phone.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
answer the phone.
yeah,
Well, I don't work here, but let me just take a message.
Yeah.
And
But
I'm
isn't
like,
that what we do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I could totally
Yeah.
see us doing that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, like, I felt
Yeah.
terrible. Like, here these parents come
Yeah.
in, which
Yeah.
I hated that she had to be there when they come in angry, they couldn't
Right.
calm down.
Yeah.
And then she looked. I said, "I'll get the phone. I'll get the phone."
Yeah.
So she's
But
like,
but
okay.
I guess my point is everything that we do is not going to be rocket science level type stuff, but it's
Right.
still service and it's still
Oh, yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
oh yeah,
I
Because
mean,
in that moment, that was important for somebody
Oh.
to catch the phone.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a brand new principal, so
Yeah.
they're
Oh, wow.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know. I was like,
yeah.
I felt so bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god. And then she looked at me. I said, I totally remember this. It's
Yeah.
typical, because
Yeah.
when we go in, when I push in to meet with the principals, I'm like, look, you're not gonna shut your day down. I'll just work around.
We'll just ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that way, because we schedule days and things happen. So
Right.
I said, we'll just work it. I've been there, done that. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well,
works out.
and I think again, it goes back to that approachability. It's like I used to say a lot of times as superintendent, I would say, most of the time I can stop what I'm doing to, but 100% of the time I want to stop what I'm doing and kind of help. But yeah, it's the service piece is something we can't. I mean, obviously we can't talk about that too much because it could be answering the phone, or it
Oh,
could
yeah.
be walking through a building and those kinds of things with the principal and superintendent in
Yeah.
tow and seeing what it is that they have. So,
Yep.
but yeah. But end of the day, it's relationships. I mean, you got to build that trust for them to call and say, hey, I mean, we believe in what you can do to help us get there. So,
Yep.
Absolutely.
you know, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that's the cool part about what we do. We get
it
to
is
serve.
really
So,
cool.
yeah.
Never different days, different every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that too.
One of my favorite things to do, we have a pre-K pretty close, and if I'm having a bad day, I mean, I just go down the street, get the kids amped up, and leave. So,
I do
so,
that too.
yeah.
Or
yeah.
or just go to a school
Right.
and just
Oh, yeah.
sit in a classroom and
Yeah.
watch a great teacher teach
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
talk to kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet most of us do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's why
100%.
I've enjoyed pushing in with the new principals. It's
Yeah.
been nice. You know,
Right.
you get to,
Yeah.
and then you're like, and then you get to leave.
Yeah.
It's like being
Yeah.
a grandparent.
Yeah.
Let me hold your baby.
Yeah.
Take her for
yeah,
a day.
yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Okay, they're crying again. It's your turn. Tag out. Yeah.
And then
so,
you're like, peace out.
yeah, exactly.
If you need me, call me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, you know, a couple things, you know, that will never change. Number one, relationships are key, but number two, kids are kids.
Oh yeah.
You know
At
what
the
I'm
end
saying?
of the day, that's correct.
You know, I
Yes.
tell-
Parents are parents too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I tell our folks and remind teachers we get the opportunity to talk to them in groups or individuals and say, look, you know, they're sending you the best they got. They don't have a better version of Timmy the Turd hanging in the closet they can switch out on Wednesday to send it to you and say, hey, this one, try this one for a week, you know. So, I mean, and that's not going to change. And I think, you know, sometimes maybe our approach we have to change a little bit because, I mean, like it or not, you know, the anxious generation, I mean, you know, social
Sure.
media, those kinds of things that none of us grew up with. I mean,
Goodness.
those are real challenges, you know, and
Yep.
I think one of the things, you know, with the state going to the no sale bell to bell, I would say 98%, you know, especially from the educator side, positive feedback from that.
Absolutely.
You know,
We're seeing the same thing in our co-op region
Yeah,
as well.
just talking about how engaged kids are.
Kids
you
are
know.
talking.
Yeah, kids
Playing
are
card
talking.
games at lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, and just you
Yeah.
know, having those conversations at the end of class, whereas before it was you know,
Yeah.
so
And I'm sure the less discipline issues with
Yeah.
the
I'm
constant.
interested in seeing the discipline data.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that
I
will
can't-
be that
yeah.
will be kind of
Because
interesting
I just
to
remember
watch.
middle school principal, I had to deal with it a lot. You know, kid taking a picture at lunch,
Right.
posting it on
Uh-huh.
this, you know, here comes the now we're bullying, or, you know, this kid, I mean, it was constant. So,
Yeah.
I'm,
Well, and one of the
Think's a
things I
good
didn't
thing.
think about, but you know, a couple of our districts stepped up front, and I'm sure most do it this way. But you know, they said, look, if we're going to tell our kids they can't have them out, don't want you having them out either. I
Right.
mean, we're going to set the tone,
Yeah.
we're going to set the example,
yeah.
and but again, feedback for the most part on that's been pretty positive. So
Good
you know,
deal.
I hadn't thought about that, but you know, where would we be without our cell phones? I guess. You know,
Oh, as mine's
much
sitting over here
happier.
on the table.
I was going to say
Yeah.
the same thing. I'd probably be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's because our generation. I can go if Scott and I go to the
Yeah.
lake. I can leave mine at home, and now I have to tell everybody, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm leaving my phone at
Yeah.
home." Because then if they can't get me, they're
Yeah,
like,
don't
"What's
send
going
the cop.
on?"
Yeah, don't send the cops.
Yeah, because normally I'm pretty quick about responding, but
Yeah.
I'll tell my mom and my daughter and say,
Yeah.
"Okay, not gonna have my phone." So
Right.
anyway, and
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are addicted to them
yeah.
for sure.
For sure. But again, I mean they have
Pros
their
and
purpose.
cons.
Yeah,
Pros and
moving
cons.
moving
With
through this
everything,
thing we call
pros and
life, I
cons.
guess. But
Yeah.
yeah. So Amy, if you weren't teaching, what would you be? I know you talked about a couple things you looked at. So
Well, over the years, I've done a lot of brain research,
Oh,
so
yeah?
I would probably go and be like a counselor, like that works under a counselor
right.
at
yeah.
like maybe a facility or something.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
we
our-
still that service
Speak.
part
Well, if her doing brain research, I'd love for her to spend 2 hours with you.
in my brain. It'd be crazy. It'd be like
It would take longer than that because it's so big.
No, you would
Way to
tag
hang
out.
together, ladies.
Hey, girl, hey, you would tag out about 5 minutes into it because her brain literally is like a BB in a vacuum cleaner. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, bing, bing, bing.
It's like that. Well,
Oh.
I showed them that day.
Oh.
Was it Hammy on that cartoon movie Over
Oh.
the Hedge or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
When he tick, 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 tick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's totally
That's
what
her.
it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, she'll ask a question and answer it 3 times before I can even weigh in. I'm
yeah.
like,
Or it's like
Yeah.
I get this from my dad, but I like if I'm on my phone and I'm reading like an email, like everything else zones out. Like I
Yeah,
don't hear
she does.
anything.
She does.
And my sister and I used to get so mad at my dad because he would be like, we'd say something and he would not answer, and then like 30 seconds later he might answer. Sometimes he wouldn't even answer because he's in the zone. And then, so then my daughter, Sarah's like, Mom. And I'm like, sorry, I get it from your papa. You know? So it's genetic. It's genetic. And my sister does it too. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
So-
mean, there are some positives to that. I can just tune everything out.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess,
Anyway.
yeah. She accuses me of, but it's not okay for me to do that. And she's like, "You're not even listening," and I can spit it back out because I mean,
Sometimes.
I'd
Because
say
we've
most
caught
of the
you.
time.
No, we've caught you. Don't even lie.
When that
Don't even
happens,
lie.
hey,
We've caught
hey,
him. He
hey,
can't.
let me tell you something. When that happens, it's because y'all are talking fashion or some other thing female related that I could get two, you know what's
Two
about.
flips about.
Two
Yeah,
flips.
two
That's
flips
right.
about.
Yeah. So Karen K, what would you be doing?
I'd be doing something in agriculture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, growing up on a farm, I guess that's just in you, right?
Yeah. I mean, you enjoy it.
Sure. Absolutely.
Not everybody's cut out to be a teacher. Not everybody's cut out to be a farmer. so-
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So.
I know.
Yeah.
My dad has cows, and
Yeah.
neither one of my sister and I didn't marry farmers. But now my daughter, her husband, he likes, Dylan. He does some research stuff at the U of A or whatever on the
Experiment
side.
station-
Yeah.
experiment station.
And anyway, so I told my dad, I said, you've got a farmer. We've got a farmer, because he has a lot of land down on the river. And, I've bottle fed calves and driven trucks while they're hauling hay, but he just had cows. We didn't have chickens and pigs. And I've kissed a pig as when I was a principal.
Fundraiser,
That was
yeah.
I had to kiss a pig. Did you kiss the pig?
No.
Oh, I had to kiss the pig.
What? I take that back. I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
So-
I was thinking we had a picture of you kissing a pig.
We did. We hit above and beyond. So yeah.
Now
I did.
Jeff at
Yeah.
OUR, he's milked cows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He talked about that on their podcast.
Well, he was an ag teacher.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they had a farm, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway.
So let's try this one. Best piece of advice and worst piece of advice you've ever gotten.
That's
Best
tough.
piece of advice is don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
If worrying's not going to change anything, then why spend the time and the effort on worrying? Because
Yeah.
it's really not going to change the
That's
outcome.
right. Yeah.
Which is kind of like the one that you
Yeah.
stated.
Like my grandma used to say, don't go borrow and worry. So yeah.
Don't go borrowing and worry. That's
Yeah.
a good way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worst piece of advice.
I know I was sitting here trying to think what's the
yeah.
worst piece of advice I've gotten.
Worst piece
I don't
of
know.
advice.
Yours
Well,
is best and worst. Hey, that looks good on you. Your hair's great. I think that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
I was trying to think the worst advice Darren has given us before. Let me think.
I don't know. I might
I
think
don't
on the
know.
worst piece of advice. See,
Yeah.
I knew he was going to ask me something that I
Yeah.
would draw a
Well,
blank on.
I'm just saying. I mean, I think a lot of times it's kind of got that double-edged, meaning to it, and I think about too when I first got in radio and the guy that he'd been there he had like worked out on the West Coast and was on the downhill slide and man, he had me going. He's like, man, you remember this class? I said, yeah. And I said, he goes, what about this one? I said, yeah. He goes, let me tell you something, son. I'll clean it up. He said, you can forget all that crap. This is how it's really done. And a lot of times that's what it is. I mean, we get so technical, but until we're living in the moment, so. But, yeah. So, Amy, what about you? Good advice, not so good advice?
I think for me is don't take myself too seriously.
Yes.
That's a
Right.
good one.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
And as far as worst advice,
I know that's hard.
well, it's kind of
'cause sometimes
not necessarily advice, but it's like things people say to you.
Yeah.
They might say, well, it's all your fault
Yeah.
that this
yeah,
happened,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
it does land on your shoulders,
Right.
but there's a lot more
Yeah. Well,
involved.
yeah, and education's kind of that way in that. I go back to, being our own worst enemy at times. And, some people, I don't know, you need to think that through, But again, 100% most rewarding thing I've ever done. 100%.
Very
I would totally agree.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of fun questions the other day, and they were talking on the radio about group that won the lottery. So, what would be your first purchase if you hit the lottery?
Mine would be a big fence so you couldn't get in. That's what mine would be. That's where my mind
We're
goes.
building the
No,
fence.
That's
we
right.
and then we were playing cards
Right.
with my parents and,
Yeah.
and my cousin and I. We were talking about it. And we are like, oh yeah, what would we buy? I was like, I don't know, but I'd take a trip. I'd be like, I'd quit my job. Yeah.
Yeah.
The signs would be very subtle that
It
Karen
is.
Kay was
Yeah.
walking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
my mom's over here like, I would
Girl,
talk
hey.
to a financial planner before I
Yeah.
bought anything, and I was
Hey.
like, well, I'd pay your house off and your house off and your house off.
Girl,
and
not
my
me.
house off.
Hey, that big boom you hear would be me dropping the mic and saying, "Deuces, I'm done." So for
No,
sure.
I would finish my contract, but there would be little
Yeah, I
subtle,
would too. I would too.
subtle things that would show you that I'm, you know,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't
I would
even.
probably
I
do
couldn't
some
even
traveling.
fathom that. Like we were even trying to process that in our minds. I'm
That
just
much
like,
money.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
crazy
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like
and
I
it-
can't even
and-
imagine.
You know, I probably played the lottery type stuff maybe a dozen times.
Yeah,
but
I-
it's
me
funny
too.
though
If
how
that, yeah.
but it's funny though how we don't really get involved now until it gets up into the billions. Like
Yeah.
you know, 470 million. Yeah, that's not worth it. but,
Former math
yeah,
teacher, it's
yeah.
really hard for me to play the lottery because I
yeah,
know the odds.
statistically.
Yeah.
And like I remember teaching ninth grade algebra, and we graphing calculators. I'm like, okay, guys, we get to the probability, and I'm like, okay, everybody in here, and we did it all day long. I had six classes, and I said we're all buying $20 worth of lottery tickets, and so then the next day, so they all wrote down their numbers. Everybody had 20 numbers every period. Like we had it on the board if anybody won. And it was like we did a random number generator on the calculator. Not a single person. Like the kids, I mean, it really was a good life lesson for
Right.
them.
Sure.
Because it's like, 150 kids.
So you
more
taught
And,
You're more likely to get struck by lightning.
oh, yeah.
So you taught the kids how to gamble. That way
Yeah.
to go, Bennett. That's
I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
we didn't
yeah.
use real money, but,
Yeah,
you know,
okay,
we
yeah,
pretended
yeah,
that we bought 20
yeah,
lottery
yeah.
tickets. But, yeah, hey, listen, that was a life lesson and a
Well,
skill to be.
yeah.
I said, don't gamble.
No such
so,
thing
see, that
as-
was a good lesson.
No such thing as easy money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever.
Nothing's ever free.
No.
Okay, let's try this one then. We do this one pretty much everywhere we go. But like we hop in your car with you, what's going to be on your playlist? What are we going to hear you listening to?
So I usually listen to the Today Show coming into work, but my other presets are Chris Stapleton channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Sirius XM.
Yeah, right,
I love
right.
I love
Yeah.
some Sirius XM. So Chris Stapleton, Kelly Clarkson,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to admit it, but I've listened to Channel 13, which is the Taylor Swift channel.
Oh, a Swiftie
I
amongst
just
us.
well, I'm
Yeah.
not really
I
a
like her,
Swiftie,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
but
a
she has a
Swiftie.
channel right
I
now,
like
and
her.
I thought,
Yeah.
you know, I haven't listened to her since my little girls were
Yeah.
girls were little.
Yeah.
So I thought, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
We'll
gonna
jam to some.
I'm gonna
Taylor
just
Swift.
check it out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I got you. Yeah,
I like
there's nothing
Taylor
wrong-
Swift.
Yeah.
I'm not a Swiftie, but I do like
Yeah.
her. I
yeah,
like her
I'm
music.
not a
Yeah.
Swiftie either.
So, Amy, what about you? What are you listening to?
K-Love.
K-Love. Yeah, we get a lot of
See, I
K-Love.
thought Amy was gonna be like Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
Well,
Eagles,
red light, yellow light.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Caleb,
I-
gets me in a good mood.
Yeah, yeah. I listen to K-Love till somebody cuts me off and I start cussing,
That's
and
when
I'm
you
like,
should be that's when you should be listening to
no,
it.
no, need to go
Gets you in
go
a better
hit some
mood.
80s rock or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm saying
I like classic rewind too.
Yeah,
That's another
yeah,
one that's on my
yeah,
my preset.
yeah. Michael, he's a yacht rock kind of guy. He loves.
Oh, he
that
likes
one.
yacht rock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Michael listens
Yeah.
to some different
Yeah.
stuff.
Maybe on a Friday afternoon,
Yeah.
I could do.
Oh
the,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all over the place too. I mean,
Me too.
there's no telling what's going to be on when I get in there. But I can tell you what, it's going to be loud. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I say this a lot too. I mean, I've got, being a radio, I just believe in the power of music. It can change an attitude,
It
a mood,
does.
and all that stuff. I mean, I'll be blasting back there, and people are like, "We got visitors." I'm like, "Well, I hope they like music because I ain't turning it down." So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Listen, if I could, I always said when I was teaching, if I could teach the entire year everything to music, they would remember
They
it.
would.
Oh,
And so I
yes.
tried to do as much as I could
right.
to music because it's something. It is that
It just
research
sticks.
of the brain that
Yes,
you're
it
talking
is.
about.
Yeah.
It's in that part that
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Retain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So going forward, if you could change one thing, it doesn't have to necessarily be education either. if you could change one thing in this old world we live in, what would you pour all your efforts into?
Oh, that's a good question. See, I'm giving you props, Darren. That's a good question. I would make people love everyone. And
Yeah.
Be nice,
Be
including
kind.
you.
Yeah, be kind. Yeah.
Kind, love one another.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
a good one.
That's
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean,
There's so
mine
much
goes kind of
hatred
back
in
to
this
what,
world.
what Amy said earlier about taking yourself serious.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's certain times we have to, but at the end of the day, taking yourself serious. I learned this lesson, as a superintendent. Long story short, we had student teacher relationship. News came, interviewed, and all that stuff. Get home at night with my wife. They pop it up, and it's the toothless neighbor. Only thing missing was a Marlboro hanging out of his lip, and it said underneath that guy, it said Darren Beck was superintendent, Fountain Lake School District. So I literally,
So funny.
I
So
l-
that's literally, I've heard you
Yeah.
tell that before,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just thought he has to
No.
be making that up.
No,
Like, that's
you
yeah.
really,
you got to show her the
yeah,
picture.
yeah, I've got a picture somewhere. I'll have
Do
to
you
find
still
it.
have
show
it
you.
on
yeah,
your?
I may have it on one of my phones.
So
but,
just
but
quit taking it personal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it
because
was
Q-tip.
hysterical.
well,
Quit taking it personal.
Q-tip.
yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, nobody else is going to take you that serious.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But that was a great lesson for me because I was beat tired. I mean, we got home and I
Yeah.
thought, whew, man, and that pops up. And I literally heard from a couple of people I thought were dead. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, my God, you hadn't been taking care of yourself. So, but yeah.
But you and your wife just sat there and just laughed.
Laughed.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
just think
Yeah.
about it. Like that was
Oh, we did.
probably
I
on.
mean,
Oh,
that's
what-
what you needed after
that's-
that day.
After
That's-
that day,
yeah.
that's what you needed.
100%. That's what I needed. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Hey, today's National Daughters Day.
Yeah.
Oh, I better post.
Yeah.
Listen,
I
on
mean,
the
Call
way
my
up here,
daughters.
on the way up here, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, even though Sarah never posts for me on Mother's Day because we're complete opposites. I was like, I'm gonna post for her. So then
Yeah.
I'm trying to find pictures. And I told Darren, I'm like, I don't take very many pictures with
Yeah.
her. Like I'll take pictures of her and her husband, and
Yeah.
I was like, we got to get more pictures together. But anyway,
So, hey, I
you
know
gotta post.
I know y'all
Happy
gonna,
Daughter's Day, Sarah.
y'all gonna find this hard to believe, but Candace was like, when she posted, she goes, "Oh my God, I posted during the workday. I hope nobody." I was like, "Oh my God!"
Listen,
I'm
I'm a rule follower.
Well, I know.
And I
Yeah.
don't post
Yeah.
during the workday. I don't even get on
Yeah.
Facebook during the workday. Like this
Candace,
is my
we
life.
have
Yeah.
more to police
Mhm.
than you taking a break
Yeah.
and posting
Of
something
course, I was
on
like,
Facebook.
well, I am with my boss
Well,
right here.
I
so.
told her, I said, "We're on the road. What a better time to be doing it." So.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing is, it wasn't. I'm like, it's not being a very good role model
Yeah.
for the people that I supervise. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
she's posted on Facebook.
yeah, yeah,
during the workday.
she is a rule follower for sure.
But I knew if I didn't post, I would
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I texted her. And I'm
just
like,
like me, a rule follower.
yeah,
wink,
okay.
Yeah.
wink,
Okay.
Hey, rules are
What-
most
lightning's
rules.
about to strike down
Most
there.
rules are suggestions in the world I live in.
Yeah, that's the
so-
truth.
So yeah.
Including
Yeah.
parking,
Yeah, exactly.
driving
yeah.
in the left lane.
Yeah, that's right.
What
All-
else? What
all
else? Come on.
suggestions.
Katie's like, bring them on. We can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
she's digging out a list
Kate-
out of
Yeah.
her purse.
Yeah.
Katie
She
says.
has a list.
Katie says, "This is Darren's world, and we just live in
That's
it."
right.
And
And
I said,
if y'all-
"Yes,
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
Hey, I'm good with that. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
let's make that the next T-shirt.
yeah."
Okay,
Darren's
I like
World.
it. Yeah,
Instead of Wayne's
exactly.
World, Darren's
Instead of
world.
Wayne's World,
That's
it's
right.
Darren's world.
That's right, exactly. Well, we appreciate y'all taking some time to visit with us
Yes.
today.
Absolutely.
Keep doing the great work.
Yes,
mean,
that's
again,
awesome.
I really, I mean, I know I don't want to bore everybody watching, but the AR app, you guys do an incredible job with that. You've led the state in network,
That's
and I
us.
appreciate
That's
that.
all of us.
Yeah,
doing
I
that
know,
work.
but
Yeah.
but as far as staying connected and making sure everybody else is
Yep.
on point and that kind of stuff,
Yep.
we appreciate that.
Yes.
Sure thing.
And the thing about co-ops, I just think it speaks well to the quality of work that we're doing. Pushing out the AR app, beginning principals, beginning superintendents, and that's the coolest thing about it. for me, in the 10 years I've been doing it, is, cooperatives being cooperative.
And working
Yeah.
well together.
Yes,
And working well
That's the name.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you've been in it
Cooperative.
long enough to
Yeah.
know that hadn't always necessarily been the case, but I
That's
think
true.
with everything that's rolled out and the level of importance, we have to, and even
We have a great team.
we do. We have a great team, but we also, again, I think everybody has strong relationships within the co-ops that even go outside the co-ops.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's fun work for me. I
Absolutely.
Realize, so.
Different every day,
That's right. Exactly. So.
just like teaching school.
But yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all letting us come
Yes,
down.
we've
Thank
enjoyed
you.
It's
it.
been good.
We've enjoyed it.
So we'll put a wrap on this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D.